It's called Buy Now, Pay Later, and for some people that sounds good. For some people that might be the only option, but a Wallet Hub reports finds that 31% of Americans use these types of services in 2021. Like any option, there are pros and there are a lot of cons to weigh to know if this is a good route for you. Owner of Truth North Advisors in Northville, Ronnie Thompson, is here to break it all down for us. Welcome, Ronnie.
Good to have. Thanks for having me.
This is interesting. So let's just explain the premise of how this works. And
Sure.
You're using really a third party to help you make a purchase.
Absolutely, yeah. So buy now, pay later is a concept, but it's really specific to a multitude of companies that have come out with an ability to buy product through them using their financing. So, and it's advantageous because it allows you to effectively buy these products with little background checking, as well as the ability to pay that over time without having to pay any interest.
Now, a lot of people who would use these services too may not have any access to credit cards or bad credit
Correct.
or low credit or have been denied applications, so they go this route.
Absolutely.
And what would some of the pros to doing this be?
Sure.
Because I feel like there are a lot more cons,
Absolutely.
but there are some pros.
Absolutely. So I think first and foremost, I tell people there is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all, right? So first of all, you have to be mindful of your situation financially. The pros really, I think, are predicated on very little background checking. So as you mentioned, people that might not qualify for credit, this is another angle or route that you can take. And then a lot of times it offers no interest. So typically over a period of 4 months to a year, it allows you to pay off that service or that product without owing any interest.
What's in it for these companies?
Yeah, so for the companies, it's really a matter of just like any credit card company, right? So the credit card companies, these credit companies understand some people aren't going to be able to pay that off over time, right? So it's a balance between people that are now post-due that interest-free period that now are paying higher interest.
Then the interest is going to kick
Absolutely.
in. So it's really a lot like a credit card situation where if you don't pay it in a certain amount of time, suddenly you're going to owe a lot more than your initial cost. Okay, so let's get into some of the cons.
Sure.
And we say this knowing that for some people, especially in this economy, this is, you need to buy something that seems very important in your life. So you want to go this route, but you have to be very careful because of really debt.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's absolutely key to this, right? I think you have to be mindful of your situation. You have to understand, where you're at financially. Cons are high fees. So if we get past the period where it's interest-free, very high fees. The other thing to be mindful of is these companies aren't as regulated as even credit card companies. So the issue becomes if you're buying this product through them, which you do, and that product is faulty or the manufacturer doesn't send you the product, it becomes a lot more difficult to recoup those things.
It feels like you need to have the utmost discipline in order to go about purchasing an item like this. And if you have the ability to have that type of discipline, maybe you would have
maybe save the cash in an envelope or something.
Absolutely.
So I feel like you're just setting people up to fail under these circumstances.
Yeah, and I think it comes back to financial discipline, right? I think most Americans are not financially disciplined. I think in a period where now high inflation, paychecks are being spread a lot more thin, there are things that are important to purchase, but I think you have to be honest with yourself. The buy now is easy, the pay later is the hard part. And so I think you have to be honest with yourself, but I think, there are high rates now in banks and things. So if you have the money and you're financially disciplined, this can be advantageous to allow you to keep your money making a good interest and kind of offset some of those expenses.
And look at those fees.
Absolutely.
Check those fees out before you do anything, because that could be every bit as crippling as a high-interest credit card.
Ronnie, do you, and just general advice, do you recommend that people deal with cash instead of credit cards or any of these apps, any of these options? Is that usually, if you're trying to get yourself out of a hole, is that the way to go?
Absolutely. If we're talking about getting ourselves out of a hole and not being efficient with your money and buying something and having money make money for you, absolutely, right? You have to be honest with yourself. And we do live in a carpe diem society, right? And everybody wants what they want today. I think you owe it yourself first step to sit down and actually analyze what's going on with your finances. How much are you making? How much are you spending? Really spend the time necessary necessary. There's great tools online to identify how to budget and really make sure that you've got yourself set before you put yourself in further debt to buy things you want.
If people want to find you, where do they do that?
Yeah, you can reach me at True North Advisors. It's truenorthadvs.com is my website. You can check me out there.
Great. Thanks, Ronnie.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
We're always learning.